Hello and welcome to How to Launder Money in Excel. My name's Jeff, I'm glad you're here. Let's just jump right in. I was recently asked the following question. If I have a business that brings in a lot of cash, how can I use Excel to launder that money? To answer that question, I've invited a special guest. Well, thanks, Jeff. I basically have this somewhat questionable business that generates a very sizable amount of cash. I want to spend the cash, so I need to sort of clean it up. So I basically use this car wash, and I'm going to show you the exact steps that I use to launder this money using Excel. The first thing we want to do is create a table. So we have our sales log with our actual sales transactions, and we want to convert this to a table. So we go to Insert, Table. We click OK, and that's going to make the next step much easier. And after I store these real transactions in a table, I want to create a bunch of fake transactions. So I'm going to select the sequential list of sales IDs, and I'm just going to extend it down a ways. And Excel expands that table. Next, I'm going to write a formula that uses the RANDBETWEEN function to create a bunch of random numbers. And I can say, create your random number anywhere between 10 and 99. Close function and enter. And now I'm just going to fill this down as well. And just like that, we've created a bunch of fake transactions. Now, since this is a formula, I don't want it to recalculate anymore. I want to lock it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all those fake amounts. I'm going to do a standard copy, and then I'm going to paste values. And that way I've removed the formulas. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to add all these up. So I'm going to go to Table Design, and I'm going to put a check in the total row checkbox. And now I have a total of 3,114. And that's the amount of cash I'm going to deposit in my bank. Now, some of the cash came from real transactions, but most of the cash came from my other business. And then I'm just going to create this same type of sales log every day. And that's how I use Excel to launder my money. I hope it helps. Now, the thing Walt may not understand is that the RANDBETWEEN function actually creates an even distribution of numbers. But one of the tools that auditors has is called Benford's law. And Benford's law shows the expected distribution of the first digits of any natural large set of numbers. So an auditor is going to compare Walt's numbers to Benford's law. Here's how. The first thing we do is start by pulling out the left digit of all of the amounts. So equals left of this. Close function and enter. And then we can create a pivot table. Insert pivot table and OK. Now we want to see left one on rows, and we'll also put left one in value so we can get the count. And this counts the number of transactions for each of these first digits. But we want to see these as a percentage of the grand total, so we right click, show values as % of grand total. Now let's change the format, so number format, and I'm going to remove the decimals, and I'm going to click OK. So this is the distribution of our sales log. Now let me just grab this pivot table, and I'm going to do a Control-C copy, and I'm just going to Control-V paste it over here so it's easier to see. Here we see this is Benford's law, or the expected distribution. We can easily compare that to Walt's numbers and see that they are totally bogus. And I hope that was a fun way to present these techniques. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. Hey Excel user, if you ever need to create summary reports, check out my Pivot Table for Beginners video. It starts at the beginning and shows how to store the data transactions in a table and then how to summarize those transactions with a Pivot Table report. I hope it helps unlock the incredible power of pivot tables.
This video is a production of Excel University.